Profitable practices. Farm solutions for people, profit, and the planet on Real Agriculture is brought to you by Farm Credit Canada and RBC Royal Bank.
Hi, I'm Bernard Tobin. Welcome to Profitable Practices. Today I'm in Prince Edward Island, where potato farmers have increased their use of cover crops dramatically over the last 5 years. On this episode, I'm joined by Andrew Lawless, who farms here in Kincour, Prince Edward Island. He tells us how cover crops are making his farm more profitable and more sustainable. Andrew, tell us about your farm operation. Give us a snapshot.
Hilltop Produce has been operating since 2005. We grow approximately 1,000 acres of potatoes on a 3-year rotation, along with small grains and cover crops, along with my wife Heidi and 4 children, Vance, Max, Maeve, and Drew.
Andrew, how does the weather and environment here on the island impact your ability to farm?
Climate change is a huge part of farming today on Prince Edward Island. We're seeing more extremes. Each year goes by. You never know whether it's going to be minus 20 on November 15th or plus 20. Some extremes there, and it's increasingly important to have our soil covered. It's part of soil health, erosion control, and overall profitability for the crop. Sustainability is important as well. Our major processors are wanting to know what's our sustainability, what's our long-term plan, and cover crops are a major part of that as well.
What are some of the challenges you face growing potatoes here on the island?
So some of the challenges can be the extremes in the weather. Weather may predict 5 mils of rain, and we get 50 mils of rain. You just never know what's going to come at you tomorrow.
Andrew, tell us about your cover crop program. Give us the nuts and bolts.
So there's been a lot of research done on cover crops. We basically have been part of that research for the past maybe 10 years or so. So that's allowed us to been able to decide which cover crops are going to work. As far as timing, I know Ryan Barrett with the Potato Board has developed numerous tables to work with to allow us to decide what cover crops to plant on what dates behind which crops to get the best value for your bucket of your cover crops. Here at Hilltop Produce, I guess you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. You try to put your best plan together is what you're going to do in the spring, and due to the extreme weather events, that plan can change very fast. For the most part, we plant some sorghum Sudan. We were going to detour from that path, but we stayed with it because of the high cost of inputs this spring. We feel the value is there. It helps to add to the soil health. We've also used some mustard. Wireworms are more and more of a part of what we have here on PEI, and mustard neutralizes that a bit. And also in the fall here, we've been doing some tillage radish as well, and we like to put in with our plow, as you can see here, and it seems to hold the soil together, eliminates the erosion, and it kind of helps to work the soil for the coming year of potatoes as well. Works up very nice, the tilth of the soil. It works well. As well, whenever we're harvesting potatoes, that's when I find a lot of the erosion can occur after the potatoes. It's a very intense crop on the soil, so we like to do some winter wheat and hopefully get it through for a cash crop the next year. As well, we like to spread some barley as well after we harvest the potatoes. Our goal would be to have 100% of our farm in cover crops. Unfortunately, because of the late harvest dates, that always doesn't work, and every fall is different.
Andrew, how do you measure success, from a profitability perspective, from a sustainability perspective?
I guess The main success of cover crops for me, as I mentioned before, is to see the fields green. To be able to drive by 90% of our fields in November, they're all prepared for the winter. They're all green. We know there's not going to be a lot of erosion. That's a big win for me. To be able to consistently do cover crops year in, year out, and know it's adding to my bottom line is huge. It's not cheap to do cover crops. You can spend anywhere between 20 and 100 bucks an acre, possibly even more on cover crops. Yeah, it's not cheap to do. Overall, growing potatoes is not a cheap crop. So if you can reduce your fertilizer inputs 5-10%, and overall the cover crops can add to your bottom line in yield to 10%, maybe even more year after year. The 8% was measured on one year. It wasn't measured on multiple years. So we keep going with this. Yeah, you don't know where we're going to end up with it, and it's good.
What do you tell farmers about growing cover crops when they ask you about your experience?
For me, it's a no-brainer if I'm going to do cover crops or not. I guess my biggest question when I go to do cover crops is what cover crop am I going to plant? And I don't think it ever stays the same. I said it's constantly evolving. I may do radish this year. I may switch to buckwheat next year. Yeah, there's constant change. That's farming as a whole. One thing for sure in my mind is I will be doing cover crops, but I likely won't be doing the same cover crops I'm doing today.